My fiancé said, "I need to find myself before the wedding. Let's take a short break." I replied, "Take all the time you need." Then quietly listed our house and accepted a buyer's offer. She's coming home tomorrow. Wait until she meets the new owners. I'm 33M and was engaged to Amy 30F for about 8 months. We'd been together for 3 years total, living together for the past 2 years in a house I bought before we met. Wedding was planned for this fall. Everything booked, deposits paid mostly by her family since they insisted on a big celebration. About 8 weeks ago, Amy drops this bomb on me. "I need to find myself before we get married. I want to take a short break from us so I can figure out what I really want." Now, when someone says they need to find themselves, that's usually code for wanting to explore other options without technically cheating. But I kept my thoughts to myself. "How long were you thinking?" I ask. "Maybe 6 weeks? 2 months max. I just need some space to think about everything without the pressure of wedding planning." "And where would you stay during this break?" My friend Sarah said I could crash at her place. She's got that big loft downtown, and she's always traveling for work anyway. Sarah, the single friend who's been telling Amy for months that she's settling down too young and should experience more before committing. Makes perfect sense. I look at this woman I was supposed to marry in 4 months, asking for a break so she can find herself at her single friend's party loft. "Take all the time you need," I tell her. She seems relieved, like she expected a fight. "Really? You understand?" "I understand perfectly. I love you, Mark. This is just something I need to do for us." "Sure it is." She packs 2 large suitcases that night, taking way more clothes than someone planning a short break would need. Before she leaves, she gives me her house key. "I won't need this while I'm finding myself," she says with a smile. She drives off and I sit in my house thinking about what just happened. My fiancé essentially just asked for permission to date other people while keeping me on standby in case her adventure doesn't work out. Here's what Amy doesn't know. The house we've been living in together for 2 years? It's mine. Bought it 3 years ago, before I even met her. Her name's not on the deed, not on the mortgage, not on any utilities. We kept our finances completely separate throughout our relationship. She insisted on it, said she wanted to maintain her independence. She pays me monthly rent that covers her share of expenses, but legally it's 100% my property. She also doesn't know that I've been getting calls from developers for the past year. The neighborhood's been gentrifying fast, and my house sits on a corner lot that's apparently perfect for some luxury condo project. I've been ignoring these calls because Amy loved the house and we were planning to start our life there. But Amy's off finding herself now, so my priorities just shifted. Monday morning, first thing I do is call the most persistent developer back. "Still interested in my property on Maple Street?" "Absolutely. We've been hoping you'd reconsider." "What's your best offer?" "We can do $380,000 cash, close in 45 days. We've had the property appraised and we're ready to move fast." The house is worth maybe $280,000 on the regular market. This is an extra $100,000 for a quick sale to someone who wants to tear it down anyway. I'll need to think about it. Can you send me the formal offer? Absolutely. Tuesday, I take a personal day and meet with a real estate lawyer to understand my options. "Since you're not married and she's not on any ownership documents, you have full rights to sell," he confirms. "However, after 2 years of cohabitation, you should document that she was paying rent as a tenant, not building equity. I have bank records of her monthly payments to me labeled as rent." Perfect. That establishes a landlord-tenant relationship, not property ownership. What about her personal belongings? "You'll need to give proper notice before disposing of anything. I'd recommend written notice and reasonable time to collect her items." Wednesday, I review the developer's offer with the lawyer. Everything looks good. I sign the purchase agreement with a 45-day close. Thursday, I start the process of notifying Amy about her belongings. I text her, "Need to discuss your personal property since you've moved out. Can you call me when convenient?" She calls that evening, clearly having a good time wherever she is. "Hey babe, what's up with my stuff? Since you've moved out indefinitely, I need to know your plans for your belongings." "Moved out indefinitely? I'm just taking a break." A break where you took 2 suitcases and gave me your key back. That constitutes moving out. Mark, don't be dramatic. I'm coming back when I'm ready. I need a timeline. The house situation is changing, and I need to plan accordingly. What do you mean the house situation is changing? I may be making some decisions about the property. I need to know if you want your things or if I should handle them. Of course I want my things. They'll be fine where they are until I come back. That might not be possible. Can you come get them this weekend? I'm not ready to come back yet. Can't they just stay there? Amy, you moved out. I'm treating this as what it is, you ending our living arrangement. You're being ridiculous. It's a temporary break. Then you can temporarily store your belongings somewhere else. I give her a week to arrange pickup. She doesn't take it seriously. The following Thursday, I rent a storage unit and carefully pack all her belongings. I take photos of everything, keep receipts, and document the process. I send her the storage unit information and let her know she needs to contact the facility directly to access her items. I can't believe you're doing this, she texts back. You asked for space. I'm giving you space. Week 3 brings more photos from Amy's adventures. She's clearly living it up, posting from clubs, concerts, weekend trips with Sarah and her crew. She looks like she's having the time of her life exploring her newfound freedom. Meanwhile, I'm coordinating inspections, appraisals, and all the closing paperwork. Everything's on track for the 45-day close. Week 4. Amy posts photos from a weekend trip to Miami with the girls. Pictures of her at beach clubs, fancy dinners, living her best single life. In one photo from what looks like a fancy restaurant, she's sitting very close to some guy I don't recognize. Our mutual friend Lisa mentions seeing the photos. Amy looks like she's really enjoying her break. Seems like she's found what she was looking for. Week 5 brings closing preparations. I found a nice 1-bedroom apartment across town with a month-to-month lease while I figure out my next move. I start moving my personal belongings, leaving only basic furniture that came with the house. Amy's social media activity continues. More parties, more trips, more photos with people I don't know. Week 6. Amy calls me. Hey, I think I'm ready to start thinking about coming home soon. Oh, really? Yeah, this break has been really good for me. I feel like I've gotten some clarity. That's great. You sound different. Are you okay? I'm fine, just busy with some life changes. What kind of life changes? We'll discuss it when you're ready to come back. Mark, you're making me nervous. What's going on? Nothing to worry about. Focus on finding yourself. Week 7, the closing happens. The check for $380,000 clears, and officially, I no longer own the house on Maple Street. The new owners are planning to gut renovate before eventually tearing it down, but they're taking possession immediately. Week 8, Amy texts, okay, I'm really ready to come home now. This weekend maybe? I miss you and I miss our house. Looking forward to seeing you, I reply. Saturday morning, the new owners are at the house with contractors, planning their renovation. I meet them there to hand over the spare key Amy had left when she moved out. Just so you know, someone might show up later today, thinking they still live here. She's been out of town for 2 months and doesn't know about the sale yet. Should we call the police? Probably not necessary, she'll figure it out pretty quickly. Saturday afternoon, I'm at my new apartment when my phone starts ringing around 3 p.m. Amy's calling. I let it go to voicemail. She calls again. Voicemail. Third call I answer. Mark, what the hell is going on? There are strangers in our house and they say they own it now. They do own it. What do you mean they own it? I sold the house. Closed last week. Silence. You sold our house? I sold my house, the one I bought before we met, the one with only my name on everything. But I lived there. You lived there. You moved out 8 weeks ago to find yourself, remember? This was temporary. You know I was coming back. You said you needed space to figure out what you really wanted. Based on your social media posts, it looked like you were figuring it out. Those were just me having fun during our break. Having fun with other guys? What other guys? The guy in your Miami restaurant photo. You look pretty comfortable together. That's just some friend of Sarah's. It didn't mean anything. I'm sure it didn't. Mark, this is insane. You can't just sell our house while I'm gone. It was my house, and you weren't gone. You were finding yourself. I hope you found what you were looking for. Where am I supposed to live? I don't know. Maybe ask Sarah. Or that friend from Miami. My stuff, all my belongings are in that house. Your stuff is in storage unit 247 at Secure Space on Oak Avenue. You'll need to contact them directly to access it. I text her the facility's contact information. You packed up my entire life? I packed up your belongings after giving you proper notice. You chose not to collect them. This is crazy. We're engaged. We're supposed to get married in 2 months. We're supposed to get married. People who are getting married don't usually move out to explore other options. It wasn't about other options. Then what was it about? I just needed some time to make sure I was making the right decision. Well, I hope the last 8 weeks helped you figure that out. Mark, please, we can fix this. I choose you. I choose us. You chose 8 weeks ago when you decided you needed to find yourself. I'm just respecting that choice. Where are you living now? I found a place. Can I come over? We need to talk about this face to face. I don't think that's necessary. You got your space to figure things out, and I got mine. What's that supposed to mean? It means I spent 8 weeks thinking about what I really wanted too. Turns out what I wanted was someone who was sure about marrying me. I am sure now. Now that your adventure is over and you need a place to live? That's not fair. What's not fair is asking your fiancé for a break so you can party with other people while keeping him as a backup plan. It wasn't a backup plan. Then what would you call it? Silence. Mark, I made a mistake. I see that now. But we can work through this. You can work through it. I already have. What about the wedding? We have deposits, bookings, people are expecting invitations. Your family can handle the cancellations since they paid for most of it. Or maybe find yourself a new groom. Don't be like this. Don't be like what? Like someone who doesn't want to marry someone who needs to date other people to be sure about me? I didn't date other people, right? You just needed 8 weeks away from me to hang out with guys in Miami and go clubbing with Sarah's single friends. Nothing happened. I'm sure it didn't. Just like I'm sure you're really ready to settle down now that you've gotten it out of your system. Mark, please. Amy, you asked for time to find yourself. You found yourself. I found myself too. Turns out we found different things. So that's it? 3 years together and you're just done? You were done 8 weeks ago when you moved out to explore your options. I'm just making it official. I hang up and turn off my phone. Update 1, 72 hours later. It's been 3 days since Amy discovered the house was sold, and the fallout has been exactly what I expected. She's been scrambling to figure out her next move, while I've been enjoying the peace of having made a clean break. Sunday, my phone was full of messages I didn't read until Monday morning. 31 missed calls, dozens of texts ranging from angry to pleading to desperate. The highlights. This is the most vindictive thing anyone has ever done to me. You destroyed my life because you're mad about a break. I'm sorry I needed time, but this is psychotic. Please call me back, we can fix this. I love you and I want to marry you. I'll do anything to make this right. Monday afternoon, I get a call from Sarah, who apparently got dragged into this mess. Mark, what the hell did you do? Amy's been hysterical for 3 days. I sold my house and moved out. Same thing Amy did 8 weeks ago. That's not the same thing at all. You're right. When Amy moved out, she kept me as a backup plan. When I moved out, I didn't. She wasn't keeping you as a backup plan. She just needed some space. Right, space to party with you and your single friends while her fiancé waited at home. It wasn't like that. Sarah, I saw the photos. The Miami trip, the clubs, the guy at the restaurant. That's not someone taking a break to think about marriage. That's someone acting single. She was just having fun. I'm sure she was. Now she can have fun permanently. You're being cruel. I'm being practical. Amy wanted to explore her options while keeping me available. I removed myself from availability. She chose you. She came back. She came back when her adventure was over and she needed a place to live. That's not the same as choosing me. Sarah tries guilt-tripping me for another 10 minutes, but I'm not interested. Tuesday brought a call from Amy's mom, which was awkward since I'd always gotten along with her family. Mark, Amy told us what happened. This seems very extreme. It's been 8 weeks in the making, Mrs. Chen. She said you sold the house while she was staying with a friend. She moved out 8 weeks ago to find herself. I used that time to find myself too. But you were engaged. We've put deposits down, sent save the dates. Amy put those things on hold when she decided she needed a break to figure out if she wanted to marry me. She was just nervous about such a big commitment. I understand that. I just don't understand why being nervous required moving out and partying for 2 months. Young people sometimes need time to be sure. Some people do. But when you're being sure about marriage, you don't usually do it by acting single and posting photos with other guys. Long pause. Other guys? Check her social media from the last 8 weeks. See what finding herself looked like. Another pause. Mark, her father and I have spent a lot of money on this wedding. I'm sorry about that. But Amy's the one who put everything on hold when she decided she needed a break. Maybe we could all sit down and talk about this. Mrs. Chen, Amy made her choice when she moved out. I made mine when I realized what that choice meant. Wednesday, Amy tried a different approach. She showed up at my office around lunchtime. We need to talk face to face. I think we covered everything on the phone. No, we didn't. You blindsided me with selling the house. That's not fair. What would have been fair? Calling you while you were in Miami to ask permission to sell my own house? You could have told me you were considering it. I could have done a lot of things. I could have fought the break idea. I could have demanded to know what finding yourself really meant. I could have told you that engaged people don't usually need to move out and party to figure out if they want to get married. I wasn't partying. Amy, I saw the photos. You were living it up like you were single. I was just enjoying time with friends, while your fiancé sat at home waiting to see if you'd decide he was worth marrying. That's not how it was. That's exactly how it was. You wanted to see what else was out there, while keeping me as your safe option. I was never looking at other guys. Then what was the break for? I just needed space to think. About what? About whether I was ready for marriage. And partying for 8 weeks helped you figure that out? It helped me realize I wanted to be with you. It helped you realize you didn't want to be alone when the party was over. She starts crying, which I expected. Mark, I made a mistake. But people make mistakes. That doesn't mean we should throw away 3 years. You threw away 3 years when you decided you needed a break 2 months before our wedding. I can make this right. You can't make this right. You can only live with the consequences of your choices. What about our plans? Our future? Our plans ended when you moved out to find yourself. Our future ended when I realized you weren't sure you wanted one with me. I am sure now. Now that you've explored your options and need a place to live, it's not about needing a place to live. Amy, you literally told me you were ready to come home the day before you found out I sold the house. That's not someone who's sure about marriage. That's someone who's done with their adventure. She cries for a few more minutes, but I don't change my mind. So that's really it? We're really over? We were over 8 weeks ago when you decided you needed to find yourself. I just made it official. Final update, 3 months later. It's been 3 months since Amy's self-discovery trip ended with her finding out she no longer had a place to come home to, and everything has settled exactly where it should be. Amy ended up staying with her parents while looking for her own apartment. According to our mutual friend Lisa, she's been telling people I'm vindictive and cruel for selling the house without warning her. She conveniently leaves out the part about moving out for 2 months to party while keeping me on standby. The wedding was officially canceled. Her family lost most of their deposits, which created some tension. Her mom called me one more time asking if I'd consider paying for some of the losses since I caused the cancellation. I reminded her that Amy caused the cancellation when she decided she needed a break. The $380,000 from the house sale is invested while I figure out my next move. I might buy something else eventually, but having that kind of financial freedom feels good right now. Amy made several more attempts to reconcile over the past 2 months. She tried the I learned my lesson approach, the we can go to counseling approach, and finally, the I'll sign a prenup approach. None of it worked because the fundamental issue hasn't changed. She still doesn't understand that asking for a break 2 months before your wedding to find yourself is not something you recover from. She thinks it was just a mistake she can fix, not a revelation of her true feelings about our relationship. The most telling conversation happened 6 weeks ago when she called me late one night. "Mark, I need you to understand something. I really did love you. I still do. I believe you loved me. Then why can't we work through this? Because love isn't enough when it comes with uncertainty. You loved me, but you weren't sure you wanted to marry me. Those are two different things. I am sure now." You're sure now because your alternative didn't work out. That's not the same as being sure about me. What alternative? Whatever you were looking for during those 8 weeks. Whatever made you think you needed space to figure things out. I wasn't looking for someone else. Maybe not consciously, but you were looking for something that made you feel like you were missing out by marrying me. That's not true. Amy, people who are excited about getting married don't need breaks to think about it. They need breaks when they're not sure it's what they want. I was just scared. Scared of what? Scared of making a mistake. Right? Scared that marrying me was a mistake. That's exactly my point. She couldn't argue with that because it was exactly what she'd been feeling. So what if I was scared? That doesn't mean I didn't want to marry you. It means you weren't ready to marry me. And if you weren't ready after 3 years together, you were never going to be ready. That call ended with her crying and me feeling relieved that I'd made the right choice. The best part of all this is how clean the break was. No shared property to fight over, no complicated financial entanglements, no joint debts, just a clean separation from someone who wasn't sure she wanted to be with me. I've been seeing someone new for the past month. Met her through work. She's a project manager for one of our contractors. She's direct, honest, and when I told her about my previous relationship, her response was perfect. Who asks for a break before their wedding? That's insane. Amy's adventure taught her that the grass isn't greener, that single life isn't as exciting as she thought, and that stable relationships have value. But by the time she learned those lessons, I'd already moved on to someone who didn't need to learn them. The revenge wasn't elaborate or cruel. It was just refusing to be her backup plan while she explored her options. She wanted space to find herself, and she found out that finding yourself sometimes means losing the person who was waiting for you. She thought she could have it both ways, explore her freedom while keeping me available for when she was done. Instead, she lost the security she took for granted and learned that some decisions have permanent consequences. Perfect justice. She got exactly what she asked for, all the time and space she needed to find herself. She just didn't expect to find herself homeless.